Parade was like a procession. They were carrying a sarcophagus, which is like a coffin, and that had a mummy in it. And they were walking towards the pyramid, and then they disappeared. Nobody knew where they went. They just disappeared. But then they saw the black cat, who went around the corner and went inside the pyramid, right? Yes, Jeep.
I saw like really good. For some reason, my foot, it was like a stick.
Yeah, so they went into the pyramid and they used their book to find like a little map that led them into where what was it called? The burial chambers is what it was called. So they wanted to get to the burial chambers because that's where the mummies are. So they were walking down the hallways and they thought they were getting close when something shouted and stepped out from behind them. It just says it was a white figure. But in the picture, there's like a foot here with a bracelet and some white clothing. So we thought maybe it was a mummy, maybe it's a ghost, maybe it's a person. So we're going to find out in the next chapter what it is. Remember, this is the one we looked at before. Yes, Omari?
So I'm going to try to X this out to see if I can copy what the book looks like. Well, this is the front and the outside of the pyramid. So I'm going to try and draw this out while listening to you read the story.
That's a good
Let's do 2
idea.
things at a time.
All right, so this chapter is called Back from the Dead. Jack pulled Annie down. The white figure moved swiftly past them. So that means it went really fast past them.
Yeah, that's a video.
Then disappeared into the shadows. A mummy, said Annie, back from the dead. Forget it, stammered Jack. Mummies aren't alive. He picked up the book. What's this, said Annie. She lifted something from the floor. Look, the mummy dropped this thing. It was a gold stick, about a foot long, and a dog's head was carved on one end. So it's about this big, it's a gold stick, and at the one end it has a dog's head. Yes, Abdullah?
A real dog? They put it no, they dropped it like a fake toy.
So it's all made out of gold, it's not a real one.
They can't find dogs.
All right, well, let's keep reading. It looks like a scepter, said Jack. What's that, asked Annie. It's a thing kings and queens carry, said Jack. It means they have power over the people. Come back, Mummy, Annie called. We found your scepter. Come back. We want to help you. Shh, said Jack. Are you nuts? But the mummy. That was no mummy, said Jack. It was a person, a real person. What kind of person would be inside a pyramid, asked Annie. I don't know, said Jack. Maybe the book can help us. What do you think? What kind of person might be in a pyramid? Who do you think might be in a pyramid?
The mummy.
Josiah, what do you think?
I think like someone who like been there for like a lot of days, and like they wanted to protect their pyramid.
Oh, so it's like someone who kind of watches it, kind of like a security guard? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone who's maybe watching over them. Go ahead, Jake, what do you think?
I'm guessing it's the brain. They disappear like really fast, and then somebody got lost, and then
So maybe it's someone from the parade. They got lost and ended up in the pyramid. What do you think, Wes? So maybe it is a mummy. Well, let's see. So I don't know, said Jack. Maybe the book can help us. He flipped through the book. At last he found a picture of a person in the pyramid. He read, tomb robbers often carried off the buried treasures with mummies. False passages were sometimes built to stop robbers. Jack closed the book. No live mummy, he said. Just a tomb robber. Yikes, a tomb robber, said Annie. Yeah, a robber who steals stuff from the tombs. Do you guys know what a tomb is?
yeah.
Yeah, so a tomb is kind of like the sarcophagus that the mummies are in. They were often buried with like lots of gold and stuff that they liked in when they were alive, so this person goes in and steals that stuff.
They have a bunch of gold. I once saw inside of it.
They do, a lot of times, I think they just found like a bunch in Egypt, a whole bunch of sarcophaguses, and it was really cool. Yes, Luke.
On Epic, I watched a video, and if you go to Mummy's tomb, to steal gold, you can get cursed and you can die.
Well, see this. Well, this one says that there's fake passages. So when they built these tombs, they thought about that, and they made fake passages and different things to kind of confuse people that went in there, so that they couldn't find the tombs. So let's see what happens here. But what if the robber comes back, said Annie. We'd better leave. Right, said Jack. But first, I want to write something down. He put the Egypt book into his pack. He pulled out his notebook and pencil. He started writing in his notebook. Tomb robber. Jack, said Annie. Just a second, said Jack. He kept writing. Tomb robber tried to steal. Jack, look, said Annie. Jack felt a whoosh of cold air. He looked up. A wave of terror went through him. Another figure was moving slowly towards them. It wasn't a tomb robber. No, it was a beautiful lady, a beautiful Egyptian lady. She wore flowers in her black hair, and her long white dress had many tiny pleats. Her gold jewelry glittered. Here, Jack, Annie whispered, give her this. She handed him the gold scepter. The lady stopped in front of them. Jack held out the scepter. His hand was trembling. He gasped. The scepter passed right through the lady's hand. She was made of air.
What?
So she was made of air. So Jack tried to hand her the scepter because they thought maybe she was looking for it.
I see it.
I'll come around and show you guys once we finish the chapter, okay? But he tried to hand her the scepter and it went right through her hand. Oh, that was the last one, so I'll show you guys. Let me show the picture here. So this beautiful Egyptian woman walked up, and they thought maybe she wanted her scepter back, and it went through her hand. So what do you think she is if they tried to hand her something and it went right through her hand?
A ghost.
Jesse, what do you think?
A mummy or a ghost? A mummy or a ghost?
So maybe a mummy or a ghost. Well, mummies are usually solid, so maybe a ghost.
Yeah, probably.
So, oh yeah, guys, if you want to know what the scepter is, that's what's in Jack's hand right here. It's gold, but this is a black and white picture, so it's a gold scepter. So right here.
That's a dog. Can we just read one more chapter?
So this is like a dog head, but in Egypt it was kind of like drawn a little
Can we
different.
read one more chapter?
So we have to get ready for gym.
Yes. No.
It does kind of look like a wolf.
Wait,
It actually
let me
looks a
see.
little bit like a wolf.
Wait, it's like a hair. Oh, yeah. I know those things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So there she is.
I'm scared to steal. Oh, I remember those outside.